Alright, so today's video is unfortunately not going to be a little bit different, but today we're going to be watching a clip here of the Daily Wire guys say, you want to know what? It's just time that we have a dictator. Let's just have a dictator because that is what we do here in America. Land of the free, home of the brave. That's exactly what the founding fathers, who these guys all love to gas all the time. What would the founding fathers think about Joe Biden? Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. They said dictator 100%. Yes. Without further ado, here are the Daily Wire Chuds doing what they do best, saying stupid shit.
The world doesn't get better between backstages. It only seems to get worse. And there's an
As the world doesn't get better between backstages, it only gets worse. Since when is the world worse for wear than it ever has been before, right? Every single day and every single year and every single decade and whatever you want to say, shit only gets better. Does Jeremy think that the world was better, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 years ago? Because it wasn't for anybody. I mean, when you say the world only gets worse in between when you guys do this shit like every week, so shut the fuck up. But what do you mean by that? Because it's just not true.
new sort of, I shouldn't say new, it's been sort of fermenting for the last handful of years, but I think it's really gaining prominence now, both in the very intellectual part of the American right, but also in the very fringe parts of the American right. And
what is the intellectual part of the American right? Because it's not these guys, and I'm sure that they would classify themselves as such. But I'm lumping the Daily Wire in with Alex Jones and every single right-winger. Where is the intellectual part of that conversation? I have yet to see it. Do enlighten me. Also, what is... I'm sorry, this isn't even important. Does he have like a key around his neck? What is that?
the fact that what I'm about to bring up is happening in both of those places, like people who we all in this room read, people with whom we are friendly, people with whom we admire, are participating in this conversation. Also, the complete whack jobs, the people who I don't think should have any voice in our movement. I think that they...
You guys are the whack jobs. The lack of self-awareness is not only pathetic, but kind of scary in a way. You are those whack jobs you're speaking, honestly, pretty candidly about. Look in the fucking mirror, Jeremy.
That their malevolent forces are also circling the same idea. That makes the idea, I think, something that we should talk about, and that's...
Dudes, bros... Oh my god. His segue into what he's about to say is, I've heard people talking about it. I have heard some people talking about this, so maybe, you know what, I should talk about it too. So he just admitted that he's a sheep. He literally just admitted that the only reason the reason that he's floating this around is because he heard other people talking about it, so he's going to talk about it too. Monkey see, monkey do. I literally have said this so many times in my videos. That's the American way of life. Someone sees someone else do something or say something, and then they go and do it too. And it doesn't matter if it's wrong or illegal or might get you hurt or is just a terrible thing. Monkey see, monkey do. That's what Jeremy Boring literally just admitted is his way of thinking. He just said that shit out loud.
This idea that the American experiment is over.
The American experiment is over. Well, then maybe you should fucking leave. Maybe you should go if you think that.
This idea that none of our institutions that have taken us through the last 2+ centuries on this continent exist anymore, that we can't find any solution to our cultural and political problems through the political system, and that perhaps it's time to look to older systems, strongman, monarchy, even dictator. I mean, when you have major voices in the...
He just said we should have a dictator, and Ben Shapiro's just sitting here like this. You know what? That might be a good idea.
Sort of conservative intelligentsia openly discussing the idea of whether a dictator will be required to save this country, or an emperor would be required to save this country, or...
Hey buddy, hey Jeremy, Matt, Michael, I don't even know the old fucking bald dude's name, Ben, all of you is over at the Daily Wire. If you want to go, if you want a dictator, get out, get the fuck out. We're not going to miss you. Get the fuck out of America. Leave. Go live in a country where they have a dictator. Why don't you go to North Korea? Why don't you go to Russia? Ooh. Yeah, Jeremy, why don't you go live in Russia? These guys think Putin's good anyway. They already like Putin. They think Putin's doing great work in Ukraine. Why don't you, Jeremy, if that's what you think, why don't you just get the fuck out? Bye. I know that he was not sitting there. I know that this stupid motherfucker was not seriously. This has to be a joke. Not seriously just sitting there. I mean, it is a joke. It's a joke. These guys are jokes. Sitting there before he said, we need to have a dictator in America, and then he was talking about the intellectual part of the right wing. The intellectual part doesn't exist, brother, and you just proved you just proved it. You just proved yourself wrong with what the fuck you just said. Will a dictator be needed? What happened to all that founding fathers bullshit that y'all like to fucking run around and spew? That's exactly what they laid out. Yeah, the founding fathers. They said, you know what? If shit hits the fan, we'll implement a dictator. It says that right in the Constitution. It says that somewhere in there. Exactly how I worded it. I think I had it verbatim right there.
System, strongman, monarchy, even dictator. I mean, when you have major voices in the sort of conservative intelligentsia.
Yeah, when you have people like who the fuck is these are they're talking about themselves. These are the people. The right wing are the people that want the dictators, right? The Trump supporters are the ones who want Trump to be a dictator. This isn't like new rhetoric. I guess it's maybe a little newer for someone like Jeremy to be like openly saying it, but even then it's still not. I don't even know how to respond to this. I really don't know what to say about these incredibly stupid creatures. I mean, they are just beyond brainless. There is no form of intellect, intelligence. I don't care what fucking words you want to use. This is just trash, man. Straight garbage. And again, if these guys really think, you know what, let's do dictator, just go live in another country. Please
openly discussing
leave.
the idea of whether a dictator will be required to save this country or an emperor would be required to save this country.
An emperor. Who even uses that word anymore? An emperor.
Or a king would be required to save this country. I think that that's something that merits actual conversation. So I thought.
So y'all are just all openly admitting that you are literally anti-freedom. Like they're admitting it now. They're not doing the okay, well, you know, we want to take away trans people's rights in the name of freedom. We're going to take away gay people's rights in the name of freedom. We can't have bail reform because that would allow the system of incarceration in this country that keeps minority people routinely incarcerated and also getting them put back in after they're out. We can't have that in the name of freedom. Now they're just being like, you know what, fuck freedom. Let's just have a dictator. Cool, man. That's awesome.
Rather than talking about the latest stupid thing Joe Biden said or the most salacious details from the Trump trial, although they are fun to talk about. Let's talk about something that we can only talk about when we're together.
You know what? As an American and as someone who's, I'm 22 years old. I guess I'm young-ish. I feel like that's pretty fucking old. Someone who's pretty still impressionable, and as someone who can go back to the mindset that he felt when he finally was realizing that I was just completely indoctrinated by conservatism. If I saw this as like someone who maybe I wasn't completely well informed enough to know that these guys are full of shit. But if I just saw this right here, this doesn't speak to me. And I don't know who this speaks to except for the uber fucking wealthy fucking people just like them. Like people that have the same status as them. When I see 5 guys in suits sitting in the ugliest studio I've ever seen. Just why is it so dark? I hate when people have studios and they're just so dimly lit. It just looks sad and depressing. It doesn't look fun. When I see these guys sitting around drinking fucking whiskey and smoking cigars and talking about fucking having a dictator, I don't know how to describe how it makes me feel. I do not know how to describe this feeling that I have when I see this, but I can tell you that it 100% makes me not want to listen to whatever they have to say. I guess that's the best way I could describe it. I don't know how to describe how much hatred I have for these human beings in front of me.
Together, let's get to the deep stuff.
So, Michael, you're a monarchist.
Yeah, well, they tie in. He pins it on the Catholic that we're all crypto monarchists.
Okay, okay, all right. I think that's plenty of Daily Wire for now. I have a hard time. I've made many videos on Michael Knowles. I have a hard time really listening to Michael Knowles speak. But that being said, I'm not going to take advice here right before we finish up. I'm not taking advice here from old Matty Walsh when, number one, I don't even know if I can show this on YouTube. Matt Walsh has literally, I mean, this is Matt Walsh right here judging two grown men, one that has a swastika on his back, fighting in diapers. Again, I don't know if I can, This is Matt Walsh, though. This is Matt Walsh. I'm not taking political advice from this guy. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not going to be taking any political advice from someone that wants to surround themselves with him and then actually have what they think is an intelligent conversation with him. This dude is sitting there with a McCafe coffee cup about to watch two grown men, one of them who's fat as shit and has a swastika on his back, wrestle in the mud in diapers, and I'm supposed to take political advice from him? Also, at that, I don't even know if I could play this. Here's leaked audio of Matt. I actually tried to make a video about this, and YouTube said no, but we're going to try again. YouTube, if you take my video down, fuck you. This is Matt Walsh. We're not going to play all this because I don't even know if I could listen to it. Matt Walsh advocating for the impregnation of young girls as young as 16 because that's technically when they're at their most fertile. Let's listen.
It is not. In fact, ever since the beginning of time, teenage girls have been getting pregnant. It used to be more common. The peak, ever since they started keeping records of these things, which they only started doing recently, like in the 20th century, but ever since they started keeping records, in 1957 was the peak for teenage pregnancy. 1957.
Yo, what is wrong with this motherfucker? Holy shit. This motherfucker needs to be locked the fuck up. Yo. I do not want Matt Walsh around anyone's kids, not even his own, man. Yo, he needs to be locked the fuck up, bro. This is criminal.
Not 2009,
well, back
not
then,
today.
All of them were supposed to have kids. Like, that's when you had kids.
That's my point, okay? So to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Even biologically, and this is me just stating, right now I'm going to start by just stating facts. So fact number one, it's not a new phenomenon. Fact number two, in fact, it's a phenomenon that was...
Fact number two, I like diddling little kids.
...more common earlier in history, and for, the first 6,000 to 10,000 years of human existence, it was a normal thing. Fact three, girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Yeah.
Okay? That's biological.
Yo,
that's a fact, all right? I'm just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. But what happened recently, and this is the fourth fact, recently in the last 30 years or so, we decided that that's way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that you know.
No, girls are no.
No. We should be able to have sex with women at any age. It's just because things have changed. You guys don't understand. You guys don't understand what Matt is saying.
Girls were getting married early and marriages were lasting longer. You very rarely hear about like these relationships that go to their your diamond anniversary, your 50th anniversary, and all this. That's a dying breed of people out there.
Yeah, and those were all people that got married very young. That's why
they're still alive.
Yeah, that's why you can have someone in their 70s who's celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary because they got married when they were teenagers. So what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem in society. It's only problematic when you are not married.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Guys, just remember, this is the guy we're taking political advice from. Just remember, it's okay if a little girl gets pregnant as long as she's married, okay? Okay, that's going to be it. I did not I'm going to go throw up. That's going to be it for the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, press that little bell, turn on all notifications so you guys never miss an upload. I am so sorry that you had to listen to that.